Right, there you go, Con.
Awesome. Thank you, Maddie. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We'll just wait about another minute or so while we wait for a few more attendees to join, and we'll get started soon. I know a lot of people have registered to watch the recording at a later time, so I welcome them as well. At some point, we'll just give it another minute and we'll get going soon. All right, it's just gone one past, so I think we'll get going, if that's all right with everyone. First, I'll start by welcoming everyone. It's great to have you all with us today to talk about Copilot and getting Copilot ready, specifically for SMBs or small businesses. My name's Constantine, or Con, for those that know me. I'll be presenting today, and we'll go through a few key items. Okay, so I thought I'd start by just running through what I'd like to cover today with you. I'll quickly cover 5 main topics. First being a quick synergy introduction. Many of you would already know us because you're here because you know our business, but for those that are new, I'll quickly tell you who we are and what we do. I'd like to then take you through an AI introduction and explain what it is and what all the hype's about before we look at Copilot in a little bit more detail, which is Microsoft's solution in this space. We'll then talk about what it means to be AI ready and why it's important, with some recommended implementations required in order to make sure your data or the way you use it is secure. And finally, we'll look at Copilot in action and look at a couple of daily tasks that might be really relevant to you as a business in terms of how you can have some more efficiencies brought into your business moving forward. So hopefully after today, you've had a good introduction to AI, Copilot more specifically, and how you might start to think about rolling it out to your business. Okay, so who is Synergy? If you're new here, let me tell you a little bit about us. The team as a whole, or the support team as a whole, have more than 50 years worth of IT industry experience, looking at various aspects of IT solutions and IT support specifically for SMBs. We're here because we are a certified Microsoft partner. We specialize in the Microsoft 365 solutions, including Copilot, but we also are specialists and certified with a number of other partners, so we can help with all areas of IT. Look, our focus is on identifying risks for your business and working towards your goals to have those risks mitigated or reduced. And we are specialists in all managed IT services, as well as cybersecurity, audit, risk, etc., etc. So security is a big focus for us. Protecting your data is a big focus for us. Okay, so that's us. Now, AI introduction. I thought I'd just go through and quickly explain what is generative AI, or Gen AI as it's become known. Probably a term that you've heard before, but for those that haven't, I thought I'd just take a little bit of time to explain what it is. So generative AI refers to artificial intelligence models that can create new content such as text, images, music, even code. These models analyze patterns and structures, and they learn from them. They use it as training data that allows them to create new data with similar characteristics that are specific to any requests that you're making. So that's Gen AI in a nutshell. So let's look at some examples of what can be classified as AI or Gen AI. Okay, so I've put a couple of examples up there, and I'm gonna mention some names which you may or may not have heard of again as well. So generative AI or chatbots is one type of how AI is, coming to market. Like I said, Copilot's a version of this, as is ChatGPT, which is a product that many of you might have heard of when there was a huge explosion of interest around ChatGPT being released. These are known as Gen AI or chatbots. Most of these platforms, though, are not secure. So your chat data or the information you feed it is stored and used for the AI models to learn from. So what we're seeing in a lot of instances here is that business emails or business data is being compromised from employees using these chatbots to write things like emails or request some other information purely because the information is now publicly available. So it can lead to some exploitation, etc., which is some of the dangers that we've listed there as something for you to consider as well when you're using these open models. Intelligent assistance is another form of AI as well. Some examples here is Meta AI, which you may know from Facebook or Instagram, or Siri on your Apple device, or Google Assistant as well on your Android device. These assistants, their goal is to help you learn more and achieve giving you the right answer that you're looking for in a more effective way. And finally, recommendation engines. This technique's used more to personalize the services that you get from those businesses. And a couple of really obvious examples here are Netflix, which we all know, depending on the type of movie you watch, it'll also depend on, I guess, the recommendations it makes to you, and Amazon have a similar service, both on the retail side as well as on Prime for their movie viewing. So hopefully that gives you an idea about the range of AI that's out there and how it's already starting to creep into your lives with the different tools that you use technologically. Okay, so real quick, I put this graph up more than anything to show you how quick technology is moving, especially in this space. We all know that the more we progress, the quicker we adopt technology, but the rapidness with which ChatGPT reached 100 million users was unbelievable. We haven't actually experienced diffusion at this scale in the tech industry before. As you can see, it was virtually a vertical line in terms of how quick ChatGPT got to 100 million users compared to some other big events that have occurred in the past, which we've listed there. So again, this is something that you'll see more and more. It'll creep into what we do more and more, whether you're on a laptop or a phone or any electronic device, and something that probably needs our consideration moving forward, if that makes sense. Now, as a result of this quick adoption, Microsoft actually recently ran a work trend index. And there were some really interesting findings that came out of it when they started to survey different people within companies. One of the big findings was that managers were 2 times more likely to say AI would be most valuable for boosting productivity rather than actually having it replace headcount or what people do. Employees themselves are actually starting to say that we haven't got enough time or energy to get through our work in an effective manner, and we would appreciate the help that we can get. So as a result, employees are starting to embrace the idea of AI actually supporting what they do for work or some of the tasks that they do for work on a regular basis. In fact, 70% of employees, which is another step we've got up on screen there, are open to delegating some of their work to an AI assistant or an AI model to lessen their own workloads moving forward. So from these findings, we can see that employees are ready to embrace AI into their daily tasks, especially if it removes some of the tasks that are repetitive and something that they can easily move into that kind of model. So we now know how AI is crept into what we do and what it is. I thought now I'd take us through a bit of an introduction to Copilot, which is Microsoft's version of generative AI. And I thought I'd start by showing a quick little highlight reel that'll give you a bit of insight about how it's being used and how it's being adopted by users around the world currently. So I'll start that now and I'll be back in about a minute. So a little bit of a grab. I've just noticed that some people can't see the screen, so you probably just heard some music without actually seeing what was on screen. I might stop sharing and reshare again and see if that resolves the issue. Give me a moment, guys. I'll just wait a few seconds. Hopefully everyone can see the screen now. Yep. Okay. I've got a thumbs up there. We'll just make sure everyone's. Oh no, still can see Black Libby. Mark can see the screen. Greg can't see the screen. Maria can see the screen. Oh, okay. Okay, very good. Well, it seems that we've got half that can see and half that can't see. Maybe I'm just going to move forward one slide just to see if the highlight reel was causing the issue. Alrighty. Okay, I might continue, and Maddie will share the link to the slide deck so that you can follow maybe on a separate screen or post the discussion today, if that makes sense, just so I don't get too bogged down with everyone. Alrighty, so hopefully you saw the highlight reel and you got a taste for what it was that Copilot's trying to do, or Gen AI with Microsoft is trying to do more generally. There's a couple of types of Copilot. So in the video, you would have seen what we call Copilot for Microsoft 365, which is Microsoft's AI integration with Office applications. But there are a couple of versions that they've released to market. Copilot and Copilot for Microsoft 365 are two different tiers, and they both use data to confirm the sources of the information that they're passing on to you when you ask it questions. But there are some differences in how they work. So Copilot is a web data tool. And it uses those capabilities to provide you with answers, but doesn't actually integrate into your Microsoft apps, your Office apps. Whereas Copilot for Microsoft 365 actually does integrate into your Office apps and uses your company data to to deliver more personalized and specific outcomes using the data within your company. Both types of Copilot are secured and protected within the Microsoft Microsoft's data security settings, assuming those settings have been set up correctly, which is something that your IT services provider can help you with, or we can help you with if you haven't got one of those as well. So there are two types. I actually want to talk about some of the benefits of Copilot, because Copilot's actually taking what ChatGPT has done and making it really relevant to businesses. A couple of key things, one of which I've already mentioned, is that business data is protected. So Copilot for Microsoft 365 actually has its own AI instance, which basically means it's not open source, and Microsoft don't use any data you feed through Copilot for Microsoft 365 to help its model learn, like ChatGPT and other open source platforms do. So the data isn't saved anywhere and is unique to your experience. Having said that, they use all the powerful AI models out there to give Copilot what it needs. So it actually does use ChatGPT-4 for text as its software base. It just secures the platform being used, as well as DALL-E 3 for images as well, right? So it uses the latest and greatest models, but does it in a way that's secure to your business. And lastly, it cites all current sources and answers. So it provides up-to-date answers. There's no knowledge cutoff. It's grounded within its search engine, and actually provides you where that information is being sourced from, so you can properly reference it. So as a result, you won't be getting any excuse me, you won't be getting any information that has been fed into the AI model but not verified from an accurate source, if that makes sense. So hopefully that gives you an understanding of what some of those benefits are. Okay, now I'll pop this slide in more for your reference post today's event. It's just here to show you what the differences are between Copilot and Copilot for Microsoft 365. It may prompt questions, and if it does, I hope I've answered some of them. And if you require more information, you'll have the opportunity to reach out to me, and we can have that discussion. But yeah, but that's Copilot in a nutshell. Now that I've given you that brief introduction on Copilot, I think it's important for you to understand how it affects your business and how you need to be ready using your business information or business tasks effectively within this environment. We call that getting AI ready or Copilot ready, depending on whether you're going to use Copilot or some other tool. And we always start by looking at a checklist of questions that we feel are important, so that we can properly define what you're trying to accomplish, as well as how we can do that significantly for you as well. I've actually put those up on screen now. Let's run through them real quick, because I think it's important for us to understand how we go about helping you as a business get AI ready. We ask 5 important questions. The first being, what are your goals for using AI? So what I mean here is, what are you actually trying to achieve? Are you looking to enhance your customer experience? Are you looking for better analytics or reports out of the financial data or the metrics data that you're capturing? Once we kind of define what your goal is in using AI, then we can also help you reach that outcome or put you in the right direction. 2, what are the pain points within your business that can be addressed with AI? So what this means is, what are the pain points you're trying to achieve, right? So is it automation in your reporting? Is it a lack of resources on a particular task that you can automate? Is it tedious tasks that people have to do every day that you feel you can create efficiencies with by helping AI, getting AI to help you with those particular tasks? Again, defining this is important, so we know how to actually be able to help you, or so you can actually know how to achieve an outcome from this. What are your current AI capabilities? I know it's probably a weird question to ask, but we do ask it, and I'll tell you why. Because I think it's important to ask your staff if any of them are actually using AI, ChatGPT, chatbots, Meta AI, or anything of the sort. For a couple of reasons, right? The obvious reason is the one we've already touched on, right? So if it's been used in a work environment, has it been used in a way that might have compromised any company data? That's an obvious risk that you want to identify. But two, what is the skill set of some of your staff and their interest in learning about AI so they can maybe become champions within the business in terms of testing and trialing a solution that you're happy to roll out to them, if that might make sense. And I hope that does make sense because it's a really important one. Four, does your business have a data strategy in place, right? In terms of protection, in terms of dissemination, in terms of internal use? And if you do, how does AI fit into that if you were looking to roll out an AI solution? And finally, do you have the necessary infrastructure in place as well as resources to support AI initiatives? And this is really a question more around needing a little bit of grunt in order to run these activities in the way that they function. Your IT services provider can probably assist with what that adjustment might be, and very happy to help out, in any way we can, if you require some assistance in knowing what that might look like. Now, all these elements together help guide and shape how you bring AI into your business, which is why we start off by asking these questions initially. The next phase of what we do is put together an implementation framework for you. I've actually put an example up here, which would probably fit most use cases. The most important part of our recommendation is that we actually recommend slowly introducing AI into your business. And there's reasons for that. But the key thing for me is that there's two parts to implementation, and both need to be considered effectively. There's the user enablement piece and the technical readiness piece. We always start by focusing on users, which are your employees, right, in the user enablement piece. We like to identify people who'll be part of your success team, meaning the people that are going to actually trial the AI platform you want to roll out. Now I know for many of you, that might be you, right? Or might be all employees based on the fact that you're SMBs and each person has a different responsibility that you want to encapsulate in this. But for slightly larger businesses, you might want to put together a particular team to roll that out. Once we do that, we kind of also, we then recommend you purchasing a small number of seats of Copilot so that you can deploy that to those users and they can start to use the functionality that you want them to start to work on so that you can get the right feedback and make sure that the solution is right-sized and tailored to what you're trying to achieve. Now, on the other hand, there's the technical readiness piece, which is actually preparing your environment to be ready. Preparing your environment refers to addressing the data security governance aspects that we've already kind of touched on, and we'll discuss a little bit further as well. But after doing the first couple of steps in preparing your environment technically, your success team then can follow through with the rest of the process, ensuring that they recognise and reward the success throughout the timeline. So both work hand in hand. The implementation framework does focus on leadership being key skill to introducing AI, because you need everyone on board in order to get the solution that works right for you, if that makes sense. Now, I've touched on this a couple of times. I'll touch on it again. Ensuring your data and security permissions are prepared before you roll out Copilot is crucial in guaranteeing a smooth transition and no leakage of any security protocols or data into the broader environment, which you often can't get back. What I've tried to do here is provide a glimpse of what security controls are available hand in hand with the Microsoft 365 Premium license. I should note that Copilot for Microsoft 365, which is the second option we've discussed in the Copilot solution, is only available as an add-on from Microsoft Business Premium licenses or higher. And the reason is really around the security aspects that you get from having premium introduced, which some of you would know because we've done that for your businesses, but I need to highlight. Most of you would know that with premium you get other security capabilities. Copilot security controls that are offered through Business Premium are some that you're aware of, but I've also listed them there as well. So multi-factor authentication, helping safeguard your organisation from identity-related attacks, such as phishing, etc., is a big one and one that we've been talking about a lot in our cybersecurity webinars. Audit logs for Copilot interactions, also very important to be able to track activity and audit that effectively just in case anything happens that we need to know about. Retention and deletion policies, they're also very essential for legal compliance and data security, as well as efficient storage management as well. And data loss prevention, another big one as well. These policies really help safeguard your critical data and minimising the risk related to accidental or intentional leaks from your business. The key that we're trying to say here is you do need to prepare your environment. Copilot will inherit all the security permissions and policies that you've got in Microsoft Purview or within your premium license as they've been set up by your IT services provider yourself. And then they can be used for compliance and risk management moving forward within your organisation. Now, if you don't understand everything I've just said, that's okay, right? You can talk to someone with some IT experience about it, or whether that's your IT service provider or someone within your business that knows a bit about this. If not, again, we'll make an offer at the end of today's seminar where we can maybe help you out with that initial step of getting some things lined up to make sure you're feeling comfortable about moving forward. Okay, so we've talked about AI, we've looked at Copilot, and we've also talked about needing to be ready to roll something like this out within your business environment. I thought now I'd talk a little bit about Copilot in action and how you can actually use it effectively to achieve some outcomes, that might be relevant to your business. What I've done is I've actually tried to put some examples that hopefully resonate with you. There's plenty of others out there, but I had to kind of pick a few, and I've done that for today's session. But I'd love to have a discussion about any particular usage or use cases that you would think are relevant to you after today's webinar, and we can talk about that in more detail if there's something else that is triggered in your mind or that you'd like to highlight to us as something that you see AI helping you with. A few examples here. Like I took some obvious ones, something like a long PDF document or Word document that is, a very technical piece of information that's been put together for you, and you just want to know what are the 5 key things that I need to take out of this. So you can literally load the document into Copilot and then give it instructions to load what it is that to give you what it is that you need as a highlight reel or a quick understanding of what it is that's being covered there. Drafting emails and social content more efficiently. Another good example, you can actually, with Copilot for Microsoft 365, actually, use it to prompt for it to write emails for you. The more you use it, the more it understands your tone, your language, and the way you write, and actually adjusts to your style as well. So you can actually use it for those tasks as well after you've got a work of emails that you've loaded for it to learn from. You can generate images as well and graphics from social media and project documents. You can customize them rather than using stock images that are available there as well. And you can actually use it to get answers to complex questions. So think about you beginning a research project or a marketing activity or a new product kind of discovery session. You can actually really fast track the information that you get in order to start to compile something that's usable for you to make decisions moving forward as well. So hopefully that gives you a taste for some of the things that you can do. I've actually got a little bit more to share with you in a moment, specifically with the Microsoft 365 apps. But before I do that, I thought I'd just talk about the apps that you would all know quite well and be familiar with. and how it might work within those environments as well, just to give you a little bit more of a granular idea about its use. So if you take Teams, for example, which is our first icon there, if you can't attend a meeting, Copilot can actually give you a recap of the meeting you didn't attend. And not only give you a recap, but actually give you action points or action items that came out of it and do it by person. So if there was anything that was referred to in there that was specific to you, even though you weren't there, as something they wanted to follow up with you, it can capture that data and share it with you as well. So think about, if you're out on the road and can't attend a meeting, you can still be, get the information you need for that meeting. Or for some of you, if you work with people in different time zones and can't attend, you can still get the information you need in order to keep progressing those projects or those sales or those products further down the line, depending on who you need to talk to. Excel, really obvious with Excel, it can assist you with the data analysis as well as chart creation and visualizations. So you can load data into a Excel and then from there have it create bar charts, pie charts, analysis, whatever it is that you want it to pick up in terms of trends and share that with you as well. PowerPoint, imagine grabbing a document, a Word document, like we talked about in the previous slide, and actually empowering Copilot to produce a PowerPoint for you using that document. It's possible, and I'm about to show you how that might work. And then you can refine it further if you feel that it wasn't quite punchy enough or hitting the mark. Outlook as well. You can summarize email threads if you've been talking to someone for a long time. You can even get summaries with citations to each email if you just want a quick guide about what's happening with a particular project or whatever it might be that you're discussing over email as well. And Word we've touched on already in terms of how you can convert the document and summarize. So now what I wanted to do was share a couple of live examples in another highlight reel. So you can actually see how it might work in well, not real time, but in an event that you've got Copilot on your computer functioning moving forward. So I'm actually going to play an example of how Copilot will work with your Teams meetings. And I'll follow that with an example of how it works with PowerPoint. And hopefully this will prompt more questions and more insights into how it might work for you moving forward as well. So I'm just going to jump into that now. So there we go. An example like similar to what we just discussed around how you can actually use this to really make you more efficient or use your time more effectively if you're caught up in a particular example. I'm now going to show an example of PowerPoint because I think this is really powerful, being able to create PowerPoint presentations very quickly, very easily using your proprietary imagery and information moving forward. Let me share that with you and then we'll come back and continue our discussion. So there we go, a couple of really good examples, and hopefully that's prompted some ideas for you to think about moving forward about, how this might be something that can work for you. Now, there was a couple of key items in the language that was being used there that I want to highlight. And that's with Copilot, you often need to prompt it correctly to get the responses that you want. And this is a skill that is actually being developed more and more as it's being adopted by different businesses moving forward. So the more specific that your prompt is, the more likely the outcome will be achieved that you're looking for. If you don't receive the intended result, you can always refine it and adjust it moving forward. And as a result, we're in a position where we can break down the prompts into 4 key areas based on how Copilot's been working or how Gen AI has been learning from itself. And you can see those on screen now. We always start, there's 4 key areas, but we always start by defining the goal, right? What is it that you ultimately want from Copilot? I've actually got an example on screen for you to consider and highlighted them in the right color. So in this case, the goal is we want 3 to 5 bullet points. Then we need the context, right? So what's the reason that we need this output and who else might be involved, right? So we need 3 to 5 bullet points, but what for? Well, we need it to prepare me for a meeting with a certain client to discuss their, whatever it might be, phase 3 brand campaign or next process in the product development, et cetera, et cetera. We then need a source, right? So what are we saying? We're saying, is there a reference material that like an existing deck or a document that we can give Copilot to leverage and create this from? In this case, what I'm saying is focus on email and Teams chats since June when the project began, and you can source the information that's been discussed amongst the team there. And then finally, we want to set expectations, right? So in this instance, we've said we want it to use simple language so I can get up to speed quickly, right? So by giving it these 4 prompts and being very clear about what our outcomes are, we'll get a result that is a lot more effective and a lot more in line with what it is that we're trying to achieve. And again, you'll get the slide deck post today, and you can use this as a kind of goal if you want to start to build out different tasks or processes that you'd like Copilot or Gen AI to use for you moving forward. I then kind of wanted to touch on today, what are some of the tasks that Copilot could be a good fit for? And I picked 3, and there's many others, but hopefully this resonates with you. I looked at business owners, marketing specialists, and sales members or sales representatives, if that makes sense. The key thing for me, though, is that these examples all have the same goal, and that's to help make you and your team more efficient. So in the business owners examples, I've highlighted that, you may use Copilot in Word to draft a project plan and accompany it by Copilot in Excel to create visualizations and budgets and other resources that then give you an all-round document that you can use for your project plan or your strategy sessions moving forward. Marketing managers, they can use Copilot in Teams to organize their meeting notes. And after, for example, a brainstorming session on a new campaign or a new product, they can start their go-to-market strategy using Copilot and all the information that it's compiled so that it's quite smart about what you're trying to achieve. And then finally, sales members, they might use Copilot in Outlook, as an example, to search for new leads, shifting through their inbox or bring to their attention potential tasks or leads that might have slipped their minds because of all the other follow-up tasks that have come through. So there's some examples of how you might want to use Copilot. To be honest with you, there's probably dozens and dozens of these. For example, I know we've got some people on the line today that might be from the legal industry or the finance industry or the accounting industry. And you could find similar tasks that you can put in place here to help you with your briefs or your auditing or your communications back to clients, et cetera, as well. So I just wanted to kind of round this out by saying the goal in implementing Copilot for Microsoft 365 is that it hopefully frees you up to focus on what matters. So take away repetitive tasks from you so you can spend more time on things like what I've put up on screen, like running your actual business, if that makes sense, rather than focused on your day-to-day repetitive tasks. Growing your customer base if you're in growth phase. We're always looking for more customers in some respects, so you always want to spend a little bit more time on that. Building your brand. So building your brand involves a lot of different things, and Copilot can really assist in doing the early stuff, so you can focus on what it looks like once you're in the scaling part of your business and looking to scale more securely. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that brings full circle what it is that Copilot can actually offer you and your business moving forward. Look, so I thought I'd just put something in here about how you might get started. I want to thank everyone for their time today, and as a result of that, actually offer a free Copilot Readiness Discovery session to everyone that's attended today. Again, if you've got someone that you can task with this, that's great. But I do know with a lot of SMBs that there often isn't someone within a business that can be tasked with that activity. So we'd like to help. And that session normally it costs $660, but we're happy to actually run that session with you free of charge for you giving us your time today. In that session, we'll look to evaluate your business's level of readiness for AI, as well as look at your current IT systems overall to make sure that you've got optimal efficiency moving forward if you were to roll something like this out. So feel free to reach out. My details are up on screen now. You can reach out to me direct. Many of you know how to reach out to us because you're current Synergy clients. For those of you that aren't, hopefully you can take down our details. And I do actually want to highlight that I've got a QR code on screen. The QR code is for a survey to tell us how we did today. Please let us know. We'd love to know whether you found the content useful. And whether you enjoyed, what we covered, as well as get any ideas from you about anything else that you'd like to learn a little bit more about as part of our educational series. And feel free to ask us any questions, whether it's me direct or through the survey. We'd be more than happy to sit down and look at them on a individual basis and come back to you with any tailored responses that you require. So I'd like to thank you for your time. I don't know if anyone actually has any questions that they might want covered now. That's up to you. I know Maddie, my marketing manager, is recording the session. We might end the recording, but I'm more than available to take any questions if anyone would like to answer those now. Otherwise, thank you for your time. I appreciate it greatly, and I hope you enjoyed today's session. Getting a few messages come through. Thank you very much. No, you're welcome. I hope you found it useful, and we're here to help. Thank you, guys. Hi, Murray. Thanks for your question. So the question, just for everyone to know, is can Copilot in Outlook compile responses to your email? Yes, it can. The follow-up question there is, if so, does it learn over time how to provide better responses? Yes, it does. In fact, what it actually does is it learns the way you write your emails and actually adjusts to your to your preferences or to your language. So it's actually one of the big features. And often what you'll find is that you might not be happy with the first email response that you get from Copilot. But the more you prompt it and the more you use it, the more it adjusts to something that you're more happy with until you're very comfortable with the responses it's being provided. You did kind of need to tell it what response you want it to have. So rather than writing a full email, you might just say, respond to this email with XYZ answers, right? And away it goes. And then you can actually approve it before approve the response before it goes out. So you get the opportunity to look at it, if that makes sense. If you want more information, let me know. Details are there, and I'm happy to provide you with some real examples of how it works functionally, like I did with PowerPoint and Teams earlier. You're welcome. Okay. Doesn't seem to be any other questions. If anything comes to mind, reach out to me. I'm here to help. Otherwise, thank you very much for your time today. I'll give you a bit of time back. Thank you. Bye-bye.